Alright people, Mike Salden here again and welcome back to another video. Doing something little bit different today. I'm just going to talk about the new Scream film that came out, Scream 2022 as I'm just going to be referring to it as. There's no number in this sequel, or a requel as the film likes to call itself within its own plot. The term requel comes up. Full spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the entire plot, all the characters, all the deaths, all the kills, all the plot twists. So if you don't want anything spoiled, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe don't watch this. Not going to use any film clips or anything like that in this video. Just going to talk over some Hades gameplay, just because I don't want to get any copyright strikes or anything on my video. And it's not really a review either. It's sort of just my loose reaction to the film. So going into this, I wasn't expecting a lot really, because this is actually sort of the second time that they've tried to do another sequel to the Scream franchise 10 years later. The first time they did it, of course, was Scream 4, picking up 10 years after Scream 3 back in 2011. I enjoyed that film. It was fun to see the cast again, Dewey and Gale and Sidney, of course. And they had some good new characters in the fourth film, like Kirby. I really enjoyed Kirby, and I thought Emma Roberts was a good villain in that film. But that was really the end of my interest in Scream when that film came out. I thought they already had a pretty good ending in Scream 3, and at this point it was getting a bit long in the tooth. But, you know, it was fun. I enjoyed Scream 4 for what it was. And then when I heard they were doing a Scream 5, even though they didn't have the number 5 in the title, I was just like, are we really going to bring back Dewey and Gale and Sidney again? And they're going to have to find another excuse for another random killer to want to kill Sidney. And I was this is getting a bit tired now. As someone who's a slasher fan, I know that sounds really sort of like a dumb thing to complain about, because all these slasher franchises like Halloween, my favourite, they keep making them even though there's really no reason to continue after the first film with these sort of slasher franchises. And I know it's a bit sort of hypocritical to complain that we're doing this again, really, when I've just been enjoying the new Halloween films that are basically doing the same thing as Scream is doing here, bringing back the old characters and you know, having them face off against an iconic killer yet again. They did try to sort of revamp the formula a little here. They went in some new directions with the sort of meta commentary. There's a lot of talk about elevated horror. It's sort of the biggest thing in horror at the moment, the sort of prestige A24, Lighthouse, The Witch, Babadook kind of high-class horror films, if you want to call them that. They had some little digs at that kind of film, and they also pointed out stuff about toxic fan bases, and they've called me out, and people like me, YouTubers or whatever, who don't like sequels and have complained about the sequels in the past. They made the villain, again, full spoilers, they made the villains of this one two obsessed fans of the Scream franchise, and to what you could refer to as toxic fans who don't like sort of the direction that the fictional franchise Stab has gone in universe, and now they want to come out and make their own version, sort of a fan film, if you want, and that's really their motivation for trying to start up these Ghostface killings again. And I'm just going to say it right away, the killers this time are Amanda and the what's the boyfriend, was he called Adam? I can't remember his name. He wasn't that strong of a character, to be honest. I think it says a lot that I've forgotten his name already. I didn't really like that villain reveal. I thought he was pretty weak of a character, a bit of a joke. And you're not supposed to like the villains, of course, but you're supposed to find them intimidating. And I find him to be a bit of a like just a bit of a joke, really. Maybe that's the entire point of what Kevin Williamson was going for here. trying to make fans and fandom and these obsessed sort of stans, as you would call them these days, trying to make them look silly for going on the internet and doing what I'm doing now, sort of complaining about plot twists and that kind of thing. I see what they were going for. I think it kind of worked. I wasn't that impressed by it. It sort of seemed like the obvious thing to do these days. Sort of complain about sequels and all the reboots that happen, while they're doing sort of the same thing, and it doesn't really excuse them for doing the same thing that they're making fun of. Just because you've made fun of the thing, reboots and endless sequels, it doesn't stop you being another sequel in an endless franchise where you bring back the old characters for nostalgia. I did like seeing Dewey and Gale and Sydney again. They used them in small bursts, which I think was important because it gave the new cast some time to shine. Dewey, of course, full spoilers again, he gets taken out in this one. I think that was good that they had the balls to do that. They had to take out one of these three characters because they even say in the film, we can't keep bringing back Sydney and Gale and Dewey and you keep surviving. It looks stupid at this point, so we have to kill one of you. And I think Dewey was a good choice because he's sort of down on his luck at this point. His relationship with Gale has ended, and yeah, he was sort of down and out. He was the obvious choice that for the character that needed to die. I think they should have maybe killed Gale as well and really stuck the knife in, as it were. I don't think you could kill Sydney. That would maybe be too shocking, but maybe it would have worked and made the film even more hard hitting if they'd taken out Sydney as well. But yeah, I can see why they didn't kill Sydney because, again, they call out toxic fandom in this film a lot, and you would see some real toxic fandom if you took out Neve Campbell at this point after she's gone through so much. I think the Scream fan base, well, you would have seen some toxic fandom if that had happened. I'm not sure if people are going to go crazy that Dewey got killed because for me personally, he did seem like the obvious choice of someone that just they had to get taken out this time. As for the new cast, the younger cast, I thought they were pretty good. I really liked the character of Tara. She was the first victim, but in a sort of a twist, she survived her attack. I thought she was a good character, pretty sympathetic. And her sister Sam, I'm not sure how I feel about her just yet. The twist they sort of do with her is they make her Billy Loomis's like illegitimate daughter or whatever, sort of this long lost daughter, and I didn't really like that twist that much. Something about bringing in these unrelated family members that we've never heard of before. It's happened in Halloween, of course. Michael Myers in the second one back in 1981 or whatever. John Carpenter wrote in that Michael Myers was suddenly Laurie Strode's sister. They have reversed that now in the current Halloween franchise. That's been deleted, and rightfully so in my opinion, because these long lost family member sort of twists, they always just make me sort of roll my eyes. So I wasn't sure how I felt about that. You do get to see Skeet Ulrich as a ghost or a sort of vision that Sam keeps seeing. It's kind of weird, kind of different, something that they've not really done in Scream before, having characters see visions of things that aren't really there. They're sort of digging a little into her sort of mental illness. She's worried she's going to become a maniac like her father. But it sort of seemed sort of shoehorned in there a little to get this Skeet Ulrich cameo. For me, I would have preferred if Stu had some sort of cameo. A lot of people wanted him to sort of come back as the killer, sort of retcon that he survived somehow and had been in a mental institute this whole time, and then he broke out, and then that Stu was the new mastermind again, sort of getting revenge 20 years later. Maybe that would have been dumb, and maybe it's right that that didn't happen. But if we had to bring back Billy or Stu, I would have liked to have seen Stu instead of Billy. Billy's not really back, if you know what I mean. He's just sort of a vision, or he's like a ghost sort of tormenting Sam that she's trying to deal with. So it was kind of interesting, but it didn't really didn't always work for me, that sort of plot twist. As for the other killer, what was her name again? Amanda. She was played by the actress who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's movie. She played one of the Manson family. Mikey Madsen. She played Amber Freeman. I sort of guessed that she was the killer pretty early on, or at least one of the killers, because she has kind of a creepy look to her. Hope that's not insulting, that actress. I just mean there's sort of a strange look in her eye in all the roles I've seen her in, and maybe it's because I had the knowledge of seeing her in Quentin Tarantino's movie where she played one of the Manson girls, one of the murderers from that movie. So it sort of kind of gave it away that there's something not quite right about her. She was good. I enjoyed her. She was very over the top, very much like Stu from the original, kind of really crazy, and her death was over the top and kind of a callback to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if I'm honest, with her going on fire and being burnt up. It's kind of like the death of the character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But yeah, overall I enjoyed the film, but I'm not sure I would say it was better than Scream 4 or Scream 2. I think it's better than Scream 3, and it's definitely not better than the original. But it was a good time, it was entertaining, and I'd say if you can, give it a watch, but sort of keep your expectations low. Alright people, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.